Caitlin Clark did the unimaginable only moments after one of the WNBA preseason's most intense games. Clark didn't hold back in a post-game interview that is currently going viral online. She called out Angel Reese by name, accused her of going too far, and then revealed a bombshell that left fans everywhere stunned. In that press room, you could hear every sound. This was a full-fledged disclosure, not merely a retort, and it was very painful. By the time she was finished, it was obvious that this was war and not just a game. Every word was dripping with controlled rage, and every silence was full of hidden history. And now, there is anarchy in the WNBA. Shocking DMs are being leaked by fake insiders. The entire squad of Angel Reese has stopped talking. Twitter is ablaze, and admirers, with no remaining neutral ground, are taking sides. However, what did Caitlin Clark say specifically? What did she divulge that caused Angel Reese's admirers to go silent? Watch closely, because what comes next will alter everything. We must go back in time to the beginning of this rivalry, to the tension that has been subtly building behind every handshake, post-game embrace, and courteous news release. Comprehend the storm that just blew up to now. Caitlin Clark is no stranger to this situation. Her name has been in headlines ever since she dominated college basketball. The logo shooter, women's basketball's future, America's love interest. However, fame always has a cost, and Caitlin, with every elbow thrown at her, every sarcastic remark made by opponents, and every camera focusing on her reactions, she has been paying it in full. Then there's Angel Reese, who is feisty, unrepentant, and has a grievance the size of the league. A symbol that talks trash, a moving highlight reel. She enjoys creating conflict and has never hesitated to criticize others, particularly Caitlin Clark. Their rivalry began in college games that were broadcast on television long before it began, in the WNBA. Do you recall that widely shared gesture? That insult, "You can't see me?" It was a statement, not simply a moment. Since then, Caitlin, the Golden Girl, and Angel, the Rebel Queen, have been embroiled in a story that the media simply cannot stop talking about. They have given interviews that were laced with sly jabs, shared courts, and traded glares. They managed to keep the drama boiling, though, until last night. The game last night wasn't your typical preseason encounter. Fans had been anticipating it for weeks under the title, "The Rematch That Would Rewrite Everything." Even ESPN warned that this game would get personal when the arena was filled and cameras were running, but none anticipated that Caitlin Clark would break her silence at the conclusion. For months, Clark had been holding back, according to people close to the Indiana Fever. According to reports, one teammate told WNBA Pulse, she's been biting her tongue. There's stuff behind the scenes people don't know, but after tonight, it's all going to come out. And it did. Guess who was responsible for Caitlin's harsh foul that brought her flying to the floor in the last quarter? Yes, exactly. Reese Angel. Fans saw it, but no flagrant foul was called. Everything was captured in the slow-motion replay, including the eye roll, smirk, and shoulder check. At that time, Caitlin didn't take offense. The fire, however, was kindled. All eyes were on the post-game interviews after the Fever had secured the victory and the buzzer had sounded. Clark was followed down the tunnel by cameras. She appeared almost too composed. She was hurried by reporters. Then she revealed a quote that would go viral online. "There are two things, competition and targeting. Additionally, some players must understand the distinction. However, eventually, receipts always appear." Boom. That was it. Someone struck the match. Social media then took off. Caitlin versus Angel was the top trending topic on X in a matter of minutes. Videos from TikTok went viral. "This isn't basketball anymore? This is war," one user captioned it, while another remarked, "She finally said what we were all thinking." However, why now? Why did Caitlin Clark, who has usually opted for tact over rumors, choose to be so forthright? It wasn't only about the foul, according to a WNBA insider account's now deleted tweet. DMs have been seen by her. She is aware of the remarks made about her in private conversations. This wasn't professional, it was personal. What about the fallout? The problem only gets worse. Rumors of locker room strife, leaked screenshots, and even league officials' advice to keep it professional are all over the place right now, but can you truly remain silent when the biggest rookie star in WNBA history publicly criticizes you? Already, fans are wondering if Angel Reese went too far this time. Or is Caitlin Clark engaging in more complex behavior? This competition has just reached a boiling point, that much is certain, and what follows will permanently alter our perception of these two stars. Hold on though, for there is still more drama to come. You're going to learn the truth about what actually transpired in the locker rooms, the purportedly leaked texts, and the first significant turn of events that nobody anticipated. The match was over. The victory was assured. However, the mood inside the Fever's locker room was anything but joyous. Caitlin Clark sat quietly with her fists locked around a towel and her jersey wet with perspiration. She was surrounded by laughter and high fives, but her gaze was fixed on the TV in the corner. On the screen, an endless loop of Angel Reese's foul, that shoulder check, in slow motion. Sports commentators, competitive fire. Caitlin remained silent. She was not required to. Her quiet was a storm unto itself. Minutes later, however, she emerged and made a scathing post-game remark that tore the veil off the rivalry. And that was only the start. Caitlin's comment wasn't spontaneous, but the world didn't know that yet. It was prearranged. Hours prior to the game, an unnamed Fever employee sent a mysterious message to her team via group chat, which was published to Wnba, a WNBA gossip website. I play tonight and then I talk. No more quiet. She will get the entire fire if she wants smoke. It was posted, then removed. However, within 45 minutes, it was screenshotted and circulated more than 12,000 times. The result was a chaotic avalanche. First, a purportedly authentic yet viral leaked DM conversation between Angel Reese and another player surfaced on Twitter. Angel allegedly called Caitlin too soft to survive a full season, and media made during the conversation. The post went viral, garnering 1.2 million views in less than 2 hours. Naturally, Angel's team refuted it right away, claiming that it was AI-generated lies. But what harm? Completed already. Under pressure, the fan base broke apart like glass. Timelines were swamped with hashtags like Number Team Caitlin and Protect Angel. The foul was recreated by TikTok creators. Reddit detectives attempted to confirm the DMs. According to a purported insider, Caitlin's team had already amassed months' worth of screenshots and was only awaiting the ideal opportunity to release them. And that time was at this moment. The situation worsened over the next few hours. An unidentified Fever assistant coach was the source of another leak. He asserted that Caitlin could hear Angel Reese's backhanded remark made before the game. She wasn't made for this. Observe how she folds. Although that remark was never included in the official video, a blurry courtside video appeared that showed Angel laughing and pointing at Caitlin during warm-ups. Every pixel was examined by fans. Was Clark the subject of her conversation? Was it lighthearted? Or was this all a prelude to something more sinister? Then came the turning point in the story. Caitlin Clark made a second public remark. This time in an unvarnished, intense Instagram Live, just as fans were picking sides. Sitting in her hotel room, clearly fatigued but resolute, she delivered the phrase that would ignite the internet in front of almost 300K live viewers. Since day one, she has been attempting to break me. Do you believe the first shot was that foul? It wasn't. I didn't say anything since I respected the game. Now though, I'm no longer being friendly. She fixed her gaze on the camera. I have screenshots preserved for a reason. I will if the league doesn't. Is no longer limited to the court. Is a personal matter. The live event came to an end. But what about the effect? Earth-shaking. Caitlin Clark's screenshots started trending on several platforms in a matter of minutes. Fan accounts started making assumptions. Were private chats the subject of the screenshots? Remarks made behind her back? Pictures? Sound? Nobody was certain. However, the curiosity alone sparked countless discussions, millions of views, and retweets. Then, the first significant twist appeared. A former teammate of Angel Reese wrote an anonymous private message on a WNBA drama subreddit. The athlete said that during preseason activities and training camps, Angel had bragged about messing with Clark's head. Additionally, according to the message, Angel once said, "She worries too much about seeming flawless. I will reveal her true nature to the world." Whether true or not, the message felt too genuine to ignore since it contained all the necessary components: ego, manipulation, and spite. The outcome? A circus of the media. Emergency episodes were dropped by podcasts. talk shows repeatedly broadcast. Caitlyn's quote. Additionally, WNBA analysts, who often avoided drama, started talking candidly about whether the league had lost control of its rising stars. And just when supporters believed the scandal couldn't get any worse, another breach occurred. This time, a private camera purportedly captured Angel and Caitlyn having a furious altercation in the hallway after the game, prior to the interview. There are two women shouting in the shaky, blurry video. One voice, purportedly that of Angel, says, "You always pretend to be the victim." The other voice, which is purportedly Caitlyn's, responds, "And you're always dirty." Security intervenes. The video cuts. Suddenly, the whole story turned around. Were Caitlyn's furious post-game remarks a response or a form of retaliation? Had something more significant been sparked behind the scenes by Angel Reese? Both sides were now becoming quiet. No more claims, no more postings. One piece of terrifying information only. Someone had evidence that something significant had occurred. And they did, right when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse. Next up, a startling disclosure that throws both parties into a new situation. The drama escalates due to fake tweets, celebrity replies, and league anger. Do you believe you've seen everything? You haven't. A fresh leak struck the internet like a wrecking ball just when everyone believed the fire couldn't get any hotter. This time, it didn't just shake the WNBA, it completely destroyed it. A thread of screenshots purportedly captured from a private group chat amongst multiple WNBA rookies, including names that fans would instantly recognize, was shared by an unidentified account using the handle Locker Room Leaks. The messages were explosive. Angel Reese seems to be making fun of Caitlyn Clark behind her back in direct comments, calling her business princess. Pretend to be humble, the golden robot of the league. And the last one, I'm going to crush her before the finals. The article received over 3.5 million views in less than 30 minutes, as well as retweets from blue-check influencers and even quotes from well-known athletes like Chloe Bailey and Patrick Beverley. Whoa, it's getting dark here. You guys are going too far with this. Calm down. The shock, however, didn't stop there. A fresh bombshell was released through Fake Sports Network, a parody news website that, for some reason, fans took seriously because of how plausible its claims were. Due to conduct violations related to harassment and bullying of another rookie, Angel Reese was the subject of an internal review by her team. Although no names were mentioned in the story, everyone understood who it was referring to. Despite the league's prompt denial, the conspiratorial apparatus was already well underway. Hashtags like this went viral on Twitter. Angel versus Clark, Reese suspended, Caitlyn free, and on WNBA chaos. Locker room war. Inside the dressing room of the Chicago Sky, fans started making assumptions about division. "She's not even that good, but y'all treat her like she's Jesus," yelled one phony TikTok account when Angel Reese was benched during a private scrimmage. That sound? Phony. However, that was irrelevant. The turmoil had escalated to new levels, and the perception was genuine. Then, it occurred. Someone from within the Fever Group captured Caitlyn Clark during a private team meeting on camera, which has since been removed and posted to Reddit. As she spoke to her comrades, her voice broke with passion, saying, "I haven't said anything, at all. The gloom, the interviews, and the accidental fouls. However, I have every whisper, every message, and every moment. And it's okay if she wants to turn this into a war. I also have bullets." The room was filled with gasps. According to reports, some players clapped, others sat still. Clark is seen grinning and staring directly into the camera as the video comes to a close. Viewers started analyzing every moment of that video. She was referred to as a savage queen. She was dubbed a PR genius by others. In any case, she was popular all around the world. Then came the actual twist. An audio memo purporting to be from a WNBA coaching staff meeting was shared online by Coach Exposed, a verified user. A voice that uncannily sounds like Angel Reese's coach can be heard in the memo saying, "We must overcome this obstacle. We will lose sponsors if Angel doesn't calm down." The media is completely controlled by Caitlyn's camp. A firestorm was started by that sentence. It was now asserted that Angel Reese was being sacrificed, save Caitlyn Clark's reputation. Journalists for the WNBA jumped in. False Instagram stories surfaced, featuring hazy contract documents with headings indicating disciplinary action. In the meanwhile, actual celebrities joined the conflagration. Snoop Dogg wrote, "Caitlyn ain't playing with y'all," in a reply meme. Stephen A. Smith posted the following headline when he went live. Does the WNBA have enough power to deal with Caitlyn? And the official WNBA account, quiet, nothing to say, don't tweet. There was only a waning feeling of tense control. A fan wrote, "This is a reality show now, not a league." However, just as fans were starting to feel overwhelmed by everything, Caitlyn Clark shared a line on her Instagram story that went viral. "I only gave you 10%. No background, no follow-up, those 5 terrifying phrases alone." Within an hour, Reddit and YouTube were overrun with conspiracy theories. Is there any video that Caitlyn has? Is there a recording that hasn't been released? Is the WNBA under pressure from brands to defend her? Behind the scenes, what more did Angel say? It was all conjecture, not a fact. However, the skepticism was sufficient to spark a worldwide story. Suddenly, the roles were reversed once more. Fans then started examining Angel Reese's previous interviews, examining her tone, facial expressions, and attitude. What had formerly been hailed as confidence was now being referred to as toxic competitiveness, and videos of her spewing trash were altered to appear menacing. The problem is that Angel wasn't going to back down. She uploaded a dark screen with a single white written line to her Instagram story late that evening, "I don't bend for anyone, not her in particular." And that, the loudest division has yet resulted from that, because the WNBA was no longer only divided between admirers of Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark. Narratives, race, privilege, media bias, and personality conflicts all came together to become a full-fledged civil war. And in that storm's eye, once standing on the same court, 2 young ladies are now on different sides of a cultural explosion. But hold on, don't yet, because everything you thought you knew will be turned upside down by one last twist that is still to come. Remain locked in. The entire story is altered by the subsequent release. The narrative had progressed beyond the scope of the game. What started as a comment after a game had turned into a national sensation, a spectacle so intensely personal and widely discussed that even those who had never watched a WNBA game were now following every update. Social media was ablaze, and the topic was no longer limited to basketball. X on Twitter, Teacher Clark vs. Reese, received over 12 million mentions in a matter of hours. But what really surprised everyone was who was tweeting. Nicki Minaj tweeted something cryptic: "They carry the loudest ammunition, so don't be fooled by the quiet ones." Mamba LeBron James added his voice by merely writing, "The league should deal with this before dealing with them." Then the unexpected thing happened. Shaquille O'Neal stated on live television, "I adore them both. However, Angel needs to exercise caution because the media is unforgiving and Clark isn't holding back any longer." These remarks fueled a fire that was already out of control. Supporters were switching sides more quickly than before. One group, incensed at what they perceived to be an effort to discredit Angel Reese, shared hashtags such as "Angels should be respected," "Clark protection stop," "Strong black women," apprehension supporting Caitlyn Clark's composure and subdued aggression. The other side retaliated with, "Caitlyn snapped, Golden Girl got grit, expose them all." As if the division couldn't become any more intimate, it did. With dramatic music and captions like these, a TikTok that went viral and was viewed over 8.7 million times compared Reese's previous interviews with Clark's post-game moments. The other plays with hate, while the first plays with heart. The fact that the person who made the video was later revealed to be Caitlyn's old college teammate added credence to the theory that Clark's group was manipulating the story from behind the scenes. News sources, even the mainstream media, which often avoids gossip, was powerless to resist. Inside the feud that's tearing the WNBA apart was the title of a segment that ESPN broadcast. An article titled "Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese, Athletes or Avatars?" was published by the New York Times. Screenshots, suspensions, and smirks, what really happened after the game, was the next step taken by TMZ Sports. In a behind-the-scenes podcast, an ESPN journalist revealed this shocking information while remaining anonymous. "I've spent 15 years working in press rooms. I've never seen a sportsman declare war with such poise." In the meantime, phony insider sources overtook Twitter and Reddit, asserting, behind the scenes, Angel had received a fine for repeated off-court conduct. League executives had personally warned Clark to cease feeding the press because they were afraid of sponsor criticism, WNBA players were refusing to pick sides publicly. It made no difference things were true or not. Public opinion had already the most combustible league in America. Player responses. What about the other players? Split. Some people shared neutral statements such as, "We must concentrate on the game. Let's not undermine one another." Aja Wilson. Some fell completely silent, a silence that cried out louder than any remark. However, according to an anonymous quote on a restricted Instagram account, a rookie said, "For the cameras, we're instructed to grin, but what about behind the scenes? Camps are being selected. And believe me, nobody is impartial. Drama was no longer the only thing." A full-fledged cultural discussion ensued. Brands looked on uneasily. Despite having agreements with both athletes, Nike, Adidas, and Gatorade abruptly stopped promoting the WNBA. Influencer pages began removing previous collaborations. Interviews were canceled by journalists. Why? Because a career could suddenly be destroyed by the following move. Plan damage management, one phony sports news website even claimed that a secret call between WNBA team owners had taken place. What was the chilliest? This is how the call concluded, based on leaked notes that have been shared by everyone but have not been verified. The narrative of the entire league cannot be controlled by two rookies. And when you believed that the storm had reached its zenith, a final tragic turn is going to occur. Because the true tape is soon to be leaked, and what it reveals will completely alter the situation. It broke just when the tension became too much to handle. A burner Twitter account with no followers shared a link at precisely 3:17 a.m. EST. No caption. Don't use hashtags. One word only. Observe. The WNBA and the internet as a whole would be rocked by the 53-second clip that ensued. Secretly captured on a surveillance channel, the video seemed to capture Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese having a private conversation in the corridor shortly before the widely shared post-game interview. The audio was clear, but the video was blurry. Very clear. The first voice was Caitlin's, calm but relaxed. "You are free to pollute me as you choose. However, don't assume that I haven't noticed what you've been saying." Then, Angel Reese moved in closer, her voice piercing, icy, and unrepentant. "Clark, tell me straight out. You conceal yourself behind interviews and admirers. Now say it." Then came the line that made fans go crazy. Caitlin answered in a nearly whispered voice. "You desired smoke? You are going to get roasted." The screen went black before security could step in. No violence, no touching, only those words. And the underlying heat. The video went viral right away. It was reposted by all of the big sports accounts within 15 minutes. Globally, "You're about to get burned" became popular. It was dubbed the real moment the rivalry was born by fans. The real bombshell, however, came next. A messaging thread was leaked straight to a YouTube drama page by someone who was allegedly a Fever intern, a pre-written version of Caitlin. Clark's now famous post-game interview, time-stamped 2 hours prior to the start of the game, seemed to be displayed in the thread. What does it mean? Her quotation wasn't a response. It was pre-arranged. Every single syllable, each pause, each sneer. The fans were taken aback. Was everything set up? Did Clark plan the entire collapse? Is Angel the victim or the bad guy? Answers could never keep up with the speed of the queries. However, a second, even more damning revelation was concealed in the same leak. A draft sponsorship agreement proposal from a big brand that implied Caitlin Clark had to publicly distance herself from players with reputational risks as part of her clean image campaign. The name? Redacted. The day? A week prior to the match. The inference? The machines behind the money may have written this entire situation, which may have been larger than either participant. The story then abruptly changed once more. Was Caitlin merely a piece of a bigger scheme? Was Angel the real target of forces attempting to shape the WNBA's public persona? Or were they both using different strategies to play the game? Nobody is aware. However, one thing is for sure, it's not over yet. Not even close. The league has stopped talking. PR departments are rushing. According to fake insiders, WNBA leaders are reportedly planning a private summit to resolve the matter behind closed doors. Fans, though, they're looking for more. They're looking for answers. They're looking for receipts. They desire retribution. Because the leaked hallway video's last frame told it all. To be continued. And now that neither player has shown up for their planned news conferences, with fan pages announcing a media war and brands retreating, millions of people are waiting, watching, and updating each feed. There's just one more question. When the next leak occurs, what will happen? Will either of them make it through it? There you have it. From leaked videos to post-game rumors, from stunning video evidence to phony insiders, the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has grown into something much more than just a basketball matchup. It's your time now, though. Do you believe Caitlin had this plan from the beginning? Was she the target of a media takedown, or was Angel Reese actually pursuing her behind the scenes? Right now, leave your thoughts in the comments section. Which side do you support? Team Caitlin. Determined, written clutch. Unbothered by number Team Angel. Unrepentant, unfazed is more than just a tale. This is just the first episode of a war. You haven't seen anything yet if you thought this drama was crazy. And we assure you that this name will reveal all. Click the subscribe button immediately. Set up alerts so you can be the first to know when the new episode is out. And show this video to someone who still believes that the WNBA is only about basketball. It's obvious that the league is also about power, retaliation, and money. Is just the start. Remain locked in. The next twist has already begun to load.